ask that you mute your phone unless you're a board member. And you mute it by hitting *6. And Janice, would you like to do roll call?
Yep. President Davidson,
Here.
Vice President Mathmay,
President Incognito.
Secretary Kincaid, present. Treasurer Hahn,
Present.
Director Hector,
Masked.
Director McGraw,
Here.
Director Rob,
Director Rob.
Director Ricketts.
Here.
Is that Rob?
Yeah, that was Rob.
Yeah, I was muted.
Okay.
I realize it.
Director Ricketts.
Here. And Director Setzer.
Nike.
We have a quorum, all are present.
And we call the meeting to order, and let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Before we get started, I would like the approval from the board to add 2 agenda items. The first agenda item is the mulch contract. And the second agenda item is the membership meeting for May and then September through March. Do I have a motion to add those to the agenda?
So moved.
Any objection? Then we will add those 2 to new business. Second item is the approval of the April 10th, 2020 Board of Directors meeting. Can I have a motion to approve those minutes?
I move that we approve those minutes.
Second?
Second.
Any objection? The April 10th minutes have been approved. I move to get a motion to approve the March 26th Special Board of Directors meeting minutes.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Any objection? Then the minutes are approved for the March 26th Special Board of Directors meeting. That will take us into the manager report. And Ginger, I'll have you go first.
I'm going to try and talk through my mask here, and let me know if you don't understand me. Pardon my back, Dave. Let's see. VESTA administration. We'll start with that. Throughout the month of April, VESTA has been continuing their work through the closure period to maintain the facilities and grounds of the trust, as well as creating new services and programming for the residents of Kings Point. VESTA staff have been working throughout the property, performing what are considered essential services per state and county guidelines. Our efforts were dedicated to following the CDC guidelines for safe workplace practices, including monitoring health and safety upon arrival to work, keeping logs of attendance and condition, taking temperatures, as you all probably had taken when you walked in this building, wearing gloves and masks, and insisting upon physical distancing. We kept abreast of the constantly evolving situation and tried to provide timely communication to the board, the residents, and the staff. On Wednesday, the governor released his Phase 1 Safe, Smart, Step-by-Step Reopening Plan for Florida. First off, he extended the previous closure order deadline to May 4th to give businesses a chance to research and get ready to open up. But the new order does contain a continued prohibition for fitness centers and salons and spas from opening. There are restrictions on food and beverage establishments and their occupancy limits. Regrettably, there is no language on swimming pools, no specific guidelines. Therefore, we are reviewing all the available information as well as the county orders and will be making recommendations to the Federation Board regarding the trust properties and how this order may guide and influence Kings Point amenities. On our accounting side, the status of the refunds that we have previously mentioned for shows and movies and trips that couldn't get completed, 95% of those have been completed and issued refunds. On the credit card snafu that happened, we have had approximately 150 people that were impacted by the merchant providers' issue with the credit cards and the delayed posting to their accounts. 73 have been contacted. All transactions have been identified and verified. And as far as the 2019-20 year-end financials, they are nearing completion. We're in review now. We've just had a different year, so we got a little bit delayed there. In the fitness and spa update on closure programming, currently 16 videos have been available on KPSCC Fitness web page. We've had over 3,000 views. And on channel 732, we play 8 videos during the day and 2 every evening. The team is continuing to work on more videos because these seem popular and they would like these to go on after the closure. The communication to Kings Point resident continues with PSA and e-blast to informing residents about virus and safety concerns. We have had Cooking with Chef Mark. That has received over 6,000 views in less than a week. I think I gave a wrong number, Matthew, there. Your fitness videos were, 3,200 views. There you go, I'm sorry. Cooking with Chef Mark received over 600 views in less than a week. And How to Make Your Favorite Beverage with Your Favorite Bartender had 700 views. With the community outreach, Feed the Volunteers pizza program through Helping Hands and Vesta under Matthew's oversight has collected over $2,200 in donation, and thus far they have fed approximately 1,200 volunteers and healthcare and emergency personnel. And kudos to the people of Kings Point for those donations and giving back to the community. That's just extraordinary. Additionally, the recent food drive held under the KPCH portico resulted in over 2 tons of food being donated to Feeding Tampa Bay. Again, a special thank you to all of Kings Point and especially to Matthew for our team for heading that up and giving back to the community. We're very proud of that. In the food and beverage portico pickup program, as you know, we started our phase 3 on Wednesday, April 8th. Thus far, for 22 days, we've served over 2,200 meals with a total food and beverage revenue of $34,173. In project maintenance, I won't read the list, but I do want you to know the damn card room chairs are finished. I just want everybody to know. The chairs are finished. You might have seen, if you've been out and about, a lot of pressure washing going on, scrubbing going on. We've finished the scrubbing of the tiles in both locker rooms at the main clubhouse. Carpets have been cleaned throughout the South Club, cleaning out of the drains in the locker rooms, lots of palm tree trimming, installation of rock and mulch, replacement of dead plants, leaf removal, etc. So the team is just, I'm very proud of all the maintenance team and pool maintenance. They've done a fantastic job during this period, taking advantage of the opportunities to get in there. On gate security, we have had, now this number won't mean much to you unless I give you a reference for it. So the total phone calls for the month of April was 6,700 calls. That's 36% down than what it normally is over a prior April, which is a slower month for us. The visitor passes are down 27% over prior month, and food deliveries are 25% of the visits. So as traffic begins to ramp up, and we are seeing that begin, we are going to be making adjustments and keep up with the traffic and the flow of what's coming in. As far as notables, we did have 37 incident reports where people call and ask questions or need us to come out and see what goes bump in the night. One notable one was that a resident came to the gatehouse upset that he was almost hit by a golf ball on the executive golf course near the dog park area. We dispatched an officer to go out there, and there was a man just hitting balls on the closed fairway near the dog park. The man said, well, I'm just getting some exercise. So the security officer explained, well, you can't just start firing golf balls out in a place where people are taking a walk or biking and driving their golf carts. And by the way, the golf courses are not open to play. So the man left. But just be careful out there, you know, while we have put notices out, golf balls can hurt. On tram services, as you know, our phase 2 is underway with Monday, Wednesday, Friday. We're still averaging anywhere from about a dozen riders a day. These are critical need people that need to get out and get groceries and things like that. All people riding have their temperatures taken, and if they do have a fever, they will be denied services. And just a reminder, we do have a conference call line set up to assist in social distancing for any clubs, groups, committees, or associations who wish to hold their meetings, continue to hold their meetings electronically. And you can send an email request to SCCKP conference line at VestaPropertyServices.com. Finally, happy May Day. As we begin to see some glimmer of hope on our horizon, Vesta wishes all our residents continued good health, and we look forward to getting back in the swing of things over the next weeks and months.
Question. Ginger, how do people sign up for the Vesta email broadcasts?
You have regular bleach, that's more concentrated than what we're used to getting. It says concentrated on it, and I know there's a couple different strengths of bleach. Oh, yeah.
I think somebody might be on that needs to mute *6.
Talking about bleach.
So you were asking about how to get on the e-blast system.
It's an opt-in on kingspointsuncitycenter.com on the homepage.
Opt in on kingspointsuncitycenter.com homepage. Go there and you'll find a section to opt in, and you have to sign up with your email address, and that basically gives us permission to send you an email. Okay.
Did you discuss the cleaning of the pool, the emptying and? No, you didn't. You might want to bring that up.
Yes. In fact, and now that you say that, that's on my list. See all this yellow right here that I did not read? Thank you. I'm sorry, folks. I got a lot of pages here and I skipped over a section here. On project maintenance update, I've got 4 items. The backstage dressing room project that was initiated by a donation offer of the Baby Boomers Club, and then it was expanded. We've got an executive summary packet ready to forward to the board for their consideration. The South Club locker room renovation project, also budgeted within this year, is in the final bidding stages. And we're having some challenges because, as you know, we had some water we found behind walls and things. We'll be putting that packet together as well and getting that to the board. The South Club pool deck expansion project, the landscape architect came out to meet with our team. Well, I should say he was scheduled to come out and then we closed on him. So that was delayed, and now he will be here for our kickoff meeting on Wednesday, May 4th. And finally, the outdoor pool acid washing is completed. The pool is 2/3 full and should be ready this weekend, with chemicals circulating, getting the heat up and things like that. So it is a very large pool, but it looks beautiful. I think some of you were down there. It's just, people thought it was dirty. It was actually metallic stains from the prior.
Looks great.
Yeah, it does, so
Thank you.
thanks.
Keith, you want to do your management report on First Service Residential?
Morning. Under our administration section, First Service Residential has processed 17 property transfer applications and 14 lease applications during the month of April. Our open positions that you're aware of, we have extended 2 offers for administrative assistants / front desk personnel. And our new team members should be starting over the next few weeks, obviously barring the acceptance of the letters. And the candidates for the landscape specialists have been reviewed. I've had some face-to-face meetings. I've got a couple more today, and we will be making a determination early next week for this position. We've had several candidates, and I think we've had some good options. So we should have that person in place shortly. And we continue to use the welcome link option for all of our condo questionnaires. If any homeowners have condo questionnaires coming in, we're going to reference them through our welcome link on the website. First service operations update for COVID. We continue to obviously monitor and update our plans as everyone else is doing. So currently we're going to continue our operational layout that we've been doing until May 15th. From this point on, we're going to be formulating a plan to reopen. We'll work with the board on our suggestions and get their feedback on it, and we'll try to slowly reopen the main office. Financials, all the associations continue to receive their monthly financials no later than the 21st. I know a lot of them get it sooner than that, but obviously the deadline is the 21st. And all the associations should be receiving the postcard that is identifying that their year-end financials are available on the website, or by just calling the First Service office to request a copy. This is a state requirement, so if anybody needs those year-end financials for their association, please don't hesitate to call us. Insurance, big item insurance. Everything with the insurance for all the associations has been finalized and completed. So the premium down payment was paid and the finance is in place. The link for the insurance certificates are all set up on the website, and we'll be receiving all the electronic policies, the full policies, over the next 60 days according to USI. If any association needs theirs sooner for any reason, or for residents requesting, please let us know or let your CAM know, and we'll request that to be expedited by USI. Briefly, the pest control, we're going to talk about it later today. All the bids have been finalized, and we'll review that under new business. Trash collection contract, we're getting the early stages of bidding out the bulk trash collection and recycling for the community. We do have a current meeting set up in the middle of May with the current vendor and some board members to discuss the plan moving forward. Landscaping, OLM completed their April inspections on the 20th, 21st, and 22nd. Those full reports are on the website as long as other work schedules. The May grade is due to be completed May 26th, 27th, and 28th. And during this time, without the landscape specialists, Mabel and First Service, we continue to monitor the 3 landscape vendors as well as grow. We'll be wrapping up the palm tree pruning this week. Basically, there's just a couple work orders left outstanding that they'll clean up, and they're moving into starting the oak tree trimming schedule a little bit early. And briefly on the mulch, we'll be discussing that under new business now, but there is a mulch contract in place for review and approval, and there are several choices that we'll talk about shortly. The semi-annual reviews for the landscapers, these have been completed and the results have been compiled. Obviously, due to the lockdown, the board is waiting on further direction on how we should proceed with actually presenting these materials. So as the next week or so goes on, we'll figure out a schedule to come up with a review process for these annual reviews from the landscaping. Any POCs, any new point of contacts, if you're not a board member, please make sure that you're submitting all of your work order requests for landscaping through the POC email at firstserviceresidential.com. This obviously just helps us expedite any issues with landscaping. And obviously we're using the First Service Connect system. For the month of April, we've had a total of 42 work orders for landscaping. And in the report, you can kind of break it down by section. You can see section 3 had the most this month, so it kind of fluctuates. And the type of work order, obviously we were completing the palm tree pruning, so pruning had a high hit, as well as 23 regular requests for the month of April. Just a couple community notices and updates. If you have to update your community contact sheets, please email or let your CAM know. This is always very important to us to get a hold of folks, as well as understanding that we're approaching hurricane season on June 1st, so we'll be sending out a hurricane preparedness communication for everybody, and just make sure their plan is in place. And it's never too early to prep. We're kind of all being prepped now with the COVID, so we should be good and stocked up. And again, I know this is often talked about, but the after hours emergency number, if you're experiencing any issues after hours, if it's a medical, please call 911. If it's anything else, please dial our office number, which is the 642-8990, and we'll be happy to help you out and assist you. Any questions?
Keith, you didn't touch on the palm and tree trimming. Can you give us a quick update status on that?
So the palm tree trimming is, like I said, is wrapping up. They're just finishing up the work orders this week. I believe Marvell had a couple outstanding that Jason from Grow, I met with him yesterday, he's gonna knock all those out this week, and they'll be wrapped up on the palm tree, and they're moving into the oak tree schedule.
If associations have trees that have not been trimmed and have hanging branches and stuff, should they contact Ma Bell as quickly as possible so Jason can get those
Yeah.
and resolve them?
Yes. Even if it's not this week, we can still, they'll be out trimming the oak, so they'll be able to take care of it, so.
The one other thing that isn't in your report, and could you just send a email to Janice? You need to certify, and I know you probably didn't know this, so it's okay. You need to certify that all the board members are owners and are up to date on their dues.
Okay.
At our meeting, so if you could just validate that and send it to Janice a note,
Okay.
we can make sure that it is included in the minutes as an attachment.
Will do.
I had a question on, you're continuing to utilize the welcome link for condo questionnaires. I'm not familiar with that.
If a homeowner's trying to refinance or purchase, a new purchase, there's questionnaires that come in through realtors or mortgage companies,
Oh, okay.
lenders.
All right.
So just if you have a unit owner that's looking for, get a completed questionnaire, we have a welcome link process that they can go to and request it.
Great.
I have a question of a rumor that I was asked about was, in regards to the landscape specialist, was Darrell considered for that position?
There was discussion that he was interested in coming back, so he is in the mix, I would say, but that's, he had an interest to come back to the property.
Is he one of the finalists that you've listed before?
Yeah, he's one of them in there, yeah.
Any other questions for Keith? On the phone from the board members? Thank you, Keith. Dave, I'm going to call on you just if you want to give us an update on the results of the OLM.
Sure. The OLM review was completed on April 21st, and as Keith had already said, all the areas passed with very good grades. The only thing I'm really going to make a comment is Paul Woods made a comment that he was impressed with the sustained, consistent performance of all our 4 landscaping sections. So I think we've seen a very good improvement over the course of the last 3 or 4 years as to what the landscapers are bringing in and performing on our properties. That's it.
Thank you. Alan, you're going to do your treasurer's report next month, is that correct?
Yes, and hopefully when everybody can be together, I will do it next month.
Okay. Dan, I know we talked about, and we'll get into it, the pest control contract, the new trash contract, the Florida mulch contract. Do you have anything else to add to those particular contracts?
Not to those particular contracts. I will make a comment that I've been having conversations with auditors. We have to audit the land trust in June, so I'm soliciting proposals from some of the local auditors to see if we can get better pricing. And at some point, probably in June, mid-June, we will begin the review of the Vesta contract, which has to be reprocessed this year. That's all I have.
Okay. Rick, do you have anything on CPC?
No.
Okay. Janice, anything on insurance?
Keith sort of summarized it in his report, so that's where we are.
The next item on the agenda is the President's Report. There is an issue that has come up, and I'm going to ask Dave and Keith and myself and any other board member that wants to join in. There seems to be a dispute that has risen on the maintenance around pump stations, which are sitting on master land, of who is supposed to maintain the shrubbery and the landscaping around those. Our landscapers have been told not to do them. I know the master voiced its concern that we did them in the past, why aren't we continuing to do them? So for any of the associations who have this concern, we will be addressing it. We will be meeting with Keith, Dave and I will, and any other board member who wants to join us to try and resolve this and give better direction to the landscapers as to what their responsibility is in conveying what we determine after looking at plot lines and everything else as to who is truly responsible for maintaining those. You okay, Dave?
I'm fine with it.
Okay. In regard, and I just want to touch upon this because it is probably one of the largest concerns. First is I would like to thank every association and every resident for working with Vesta and the Federation and the Land Trust in the stay-at-home and stay-safe process. I think we've done an exceptional job. It shows in the number within our community. As stated in our video, the board will be meeting with Ginger directly after this meeting to discuss a phased approach to opening the pool and opening some other outdoor amenities. Just so you're aware, and I hope Ginger doesn't shoot me when I say this, we have been in contact with the CA to make sure whatever we are doing and whatever they are doing is coordinated so the entire Sun City Center community is consistent in how it is processing things. But understand that we're only in phase one. We expect to have information out to the residents within the week of what we will be doing and how the phased approach will be done. It will not include opening the clubhouses. It will not include opening the 2020 building, and in speaking to Ginger, it will not include opening the Palm Court Cafe. And one of the reasons is with the governor's direction of 25%, it would just cost too much money. There wouldn't be that many people that would be able to enter the Palm Court when you only have 25% of the seating. So we know everyone is anxious, including your entire board, of getting the community open as quickly as possible, but we must do it in a phased approach with a concern of the safety and the welfare of the residents. So you will get more on it next week, and I appreciate your understanding. We all need to work together on this. We'll try and do some things that will let the residents get back out into the community and back into some activities, but understand it will be a phased approach, and as things go along, it will increase the capability of doing more and more things as we continue. In regard to reorganization, Rick Massame was appointed by the board to be the point of contact with the master on reorganization. The master and the federation have formed an executive oversight committee, which includes 2 members from the federation, which are Rick Massame and Dave McGraw, and they would be joining 2 members from the master, which are Jim Haggerty and Jim Ajiro, and the executive oversight committee will be working with the ad hoc committee that was established by the master. We would like to thank the master. We provided some names that we would like added to the master ad hoc committee. The master selected 3 of the members which we offered to them. Those are Patty Delaney, Jim Allen and Bill Rabb to serve on the ad hoc committee, and they are starting to attend the meetings of the ad hoc committee. In addition to the committees that have been established and the work between the Federation and the Master, the Federation has been working for months on putting together a white paper. The white paper, for those who don't understand the terminology, is a proposal, written proposal that is developed and presented out. This white paper has been completed. It will be fully reviewed by the final draft of it, reviewed by the board on Monday, and we expect to have that white paper sent to the ad hoc committee for the reorganization, for their review, their comments and input. We will also be sending it out to all of the presidents within Kings Point so they can come back and put their input, their comments back to the Federation Board on the white paper. The white paper basically gives some ideas of the reorganization of the community and the thoughts from your board of directors on what we would like to see as the community goes forward of all uniting and becoming one. And I wanted to let you know that this white paper has been basically put together probably over the last 4 or 5 months of work. We hope it is taken in the spirit which is offered, which is basically an input into the process. It gives some thoughts and ideas of where the community should go. The board fully supports having one organization who is responsible to the associations for the oversight of the community. Very strong in that particular position, and hopefully we can get there sooner rather than later, but that also needs to be a stepped approach. There's a lot of moving parts within Kings Point that we have to be mindful of and cognizant of, and we are more than willing and ready to work with the Master and the ad hoc committee in the work they are doing. Outside of that, that is all I have to say on those issues. Again, I appreciate the efforts that have been made within this community to keep us all healthy and safe, and hopefully we can continue as we open up the community, that the residents understand it is a phased approach, and there is understanding. There's an old expression, you can please some of the people all the time, all the people some of the time, but you're unable to please all the people all the time. So we are trying the best we can to get the residents back into the amenities of Kings Point, and we're not going to please everybody what we do, but we're trying to do it in the most phased in approach possible, and I would like to thank you all for your support. As there is no unfinished business, let's go to the new business, and the first item of the new business, and I'm going to make basically the membership meetings. We don't know what is going to happen during the month of May, and if we can meet in person, we would love to meet in person. We'd love to be in front of all the presidents and work on different issues that we have out there. My proposal and what is going to be recommended by the board is, depending on how May goes, that we hold the May membership meeting either the 4th or 5th Friday of the month, which would be the 22nd or the 29th. Understand if we can't have the meeting in person, that Ma Bell will have to basically send out proxies to all the presidents along with any contracts that need to be approved. We want to get this out in the hands of the presidents so they have sufficient time to review them. And we have to get the proxies out. So we are going to see how it goes. Hopefully we can hold it on the 22nd, but that may be a little bit more difficult in the mailings of proxies and the returning of proxies and getting the finalized copies of the contracts for the presidents to review. As far as the remainder of the schedule for membership meetings, the membership meeting will be held on the third Friday of every month from September through February. And then the last Friday of the month for the month of March will be the annual membership meeting. This will be a part of the agenda for the membership meeting approval for the month of May, whether it's held in person or it's held in proxy. Can I have a motion to approve to send to the membership that schedule?
I so move.
And a second. Any objection? And that is the membership meeting agendas that we will send out. The second part of the new business, I'm going to turn over to Keith to give us an update on what he has done regarding pest control, where we are in the process, and then we can review what Keith said and make a determination on where we want to go with that particular aspect of it. So Keith, you want to tell us what the process has been and what you've done with pest control? And
Okay, so we've taken the approach to have the pest control bulk contract reviewed and bid out. We had 5 total vendors that submitted bids, including the current vendor Terminex. The general specifications for the bid was services still Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. with the exception of legal holidays. Would be just under a 3-year term to end on the fiscal year March 31st, 2023. It would service all 113 Federation members associations. And it is listed as an on-demand or as-needed service, meaning that the homeowner would call in to First Service office. We would gather the schedule for the pest control company, and we would also send that over to them the night before, and they would lay out their schedule for the services. And obviously that breaks down the morning and afternoon times for the residents to help give them some kind of flexibility. The main goal was to have all service requests that the homeowners needed completed within 3 business days of their request. So that was generally the understanding of the bid. I understand that there was some hang-ups and some delays with the current vendor, and that was the goal, was to make sure that any current bidder had the capabilities to bring in extra crews to help, bring down the number of requests if it started to fluctuate. As many as you know, they had no spraying inside during the month of April per Terminex. I talked to them and they've agreed to start going back inside starting Monday, so we're going to slowly ease back in there and he'll bring those calls back down. And their team will obviously mask up and everything, and it will be up to the owners if they're comfortable having that completed. But moving forward after that, we want to make sure there's ample technicians available to control an influx of service requests. Obviously, if season come in, everybody's coming back, so that was kind of the main goal for this. The 5 bids came in, and I'll just kind of read them off in the order I had. Terminex submitted a bid for $120,000 for the year total. Turner Pest Control, $208,000 per year. Bug Eyes Pest Control was $69,000 for the year. Cavalry Pest Control was just over $60,000, and All Florida Pest Control was $165,000. Now, based on these numbers and based on my relationship and experience with these vendors and talking to them and looking at their references, I felt it was the best choice to try to go with somebody that could service everybody, that had enough technicians, and obviously keep it in some kind of budget range for everybody. Some of those were obviously much higher than the past contract, and we felt like it was not justifiable to have such a high number. So we ended up selecting and recommending to the board Bug Guys Pest Control. We feel like they have ample staff to handle the needs. They have experience in dealing with HOAs and condominiums, and the pricing on it is reasonable, and it's only a slight increase overall per unit for the year. I believe it's 72 cents increase per unit for the year. So it is our recommendation that the board select Bug Guys Pest Controls, and it would start June 1st of this year. And I believe everybody reviewed that. Any other questions that I can answer? Or?
I have a question,
Yep.
Keith, because, yeah, it looked like 3 of them were way high.
Alan,
But
do
2,
me a favor, could you speak up or
Yes,
move
sorry.
up towards the phone?
right. I do have a question. It looks like 3 of the bids were very high. 2 are reasonable. In fact, Calvary Pest was the lowest bid. Bug Guys was not much higher, but a little bit higher than them. What was your reason, again, for selecting them and not the low bid?
When I talked to Calvary, they were a newer company. They had experience, they were a newly formed company, and they essentially only had 2 technicians, 2 employees total. So we felt like it was maybe not the best fit to have a company of that size, because we ran into that with Terminex not having enough capability to service the needs of the community. Bug Guys has 4 full-time technicians, as well as the owner of the company that can handle coming out and overflow. And he's actually would come here in the beginning to learn the property. So that was really the determining factor in the price range on those 2. The other ones, I think they're obviously bigger outfits, and they were looking at having 2 full-time guys every single day. And I think Terminex's bid was higher just because they've been here, and I think maybe they kind of just said if they want us, we'll go with that number. So that was kind of my understanding of it talking with them. So
Good, okay,
yeah.
excellent.
Thank you.
If I am correct, the bid that we got from Terminex basically was almost double the price of what we are currently paying. And they basically only wanted to be able to complete like 16 orders a day. Currently, they look at doing 40 orders a day, which is really kind of physically impossible unless you have more than one person on premise. And did it seem to you that they just didn't want to do the business? When you come in and double your price, you cut the amount of hours you're working and you cut the number of residents that you'll visit. To me, it's saying something.
They were just, if they want to keep us, here's the price, and they were just saying if they get it, they get it. But yeah, there was no competitive or conversation with, understanding that they wanted to lower it and keep the price. You'd think if they want to lower the service, they'd kind of keep the price the same, but no, they wanted to almost, and they increased about 40%. So.
And the contract with Bug Guy has been reviewed and returned by the attorney, and basically, Bug Guy basically has no issues with any of the changes we've made in the contract. Am I correct?
Yeah, no issues. All the insurance is there for the automobiles and liability, so he was okay with everything.
Okay. You can stay there because you're going to have to run in. Then, in regarding to pest control, I would move that the Federation Board of Directors approve the pest control service proposal submitted by Bug Guys Termite and Pest Control, and present it and the proposed contract to the Federation membership at the next membership meeting for their approval.
Second.
Thank you, Alan. Any objection? Then we will move forward with Bug Guys, Termite and Pest Control. And Keith, I want to thank you for all your work. I know you came in on short notice and basically it was dumped in your lap. So I appreciate you going out, getting all the quotes, interviewing all the companies, and making a full and honest assessment of what was best for the community. So, thank you. The last item which we added to the agenda is the Florida mulch contract. And I wonder if you would just go over that particular proposal from them and where we stand with that.
So the bulk mulch contract is with Florida Mulch. And this year the pricing has 3 different types of mulch that each association can determine if they'd like to select. Those are the mini pine bark at $4.88 per bag, and that obviously includes the product itself, delivery, taxes, and installation of the mulch. There's cypress grade B mulch at $4.75 a bag. And then there's a environmental mulch that has 3 options in itself. So if you selected the environmental mulch, it's $4.59 a bag. And then you're allowed to select if you'd want the red style, the gold style, or the cocoa brown style. So definitely ample selections of mulch for everybody at pretty good pricings for an installed bag of mulch. The contract has been reviewed by the attorney, and changes were made. I don't think there's anything out of the norm. Ma Bell has put together the samples that will be sent out to the associations that they can select where their mulch is going to be, where it's going to be placed, where it's going to be installed, and obviously the style and their agreement with Florida Mulch. So we have all that in place once the contract has been approved. And that's really
The mulch guys the company has agreed to come out and work with each association to determine how much mulch they need if the association wants.
Yeah. Yes, and we have basically association plot lines that say where they want it. They're going to mark off areas that they want, so there's understanding where it's going to be placed, so that hopefully will help with the communication of it.
We added into the contract, and it is a part of the contract because it was accidentally omitted last year, that upon request of any association, Florida Mulch will make themselves available. They will send out one of their experienced oversight supervisors to work with the association on determining the number of bags they need, and will be available when the bags are installed. So they will help with any association that has a concern about the number of bags of mulch they receive and how many they need. And most likely, just to keep in mind that, and Ma Bell had a rough time last year because of the way the bags were ordered by association. They have to be ordered in quantities of 50, correct, Ma Bell? So you don't have to go back and ask the associations, do you want to take yours up or do you want to take yours down to get to the 50? If anybody wants to know, the environmental mulch is, we did test it last year. It was done in Tremont 1. We use the red environmental mulch on the berm in front of Tremont 1 because it truly belongs to Tremont 1, and we wanted to remain consistent with the other side, which was Tremont 2, where the master basically places the red mulch. If you drive by, you'll see the color has basically been maintained since it was installed in September, and we haven't had a lot of washout along that berm. We also use the gold environmental mulch within our community, and as we have done plantings this year in the Tremont 1 area, Russell Landscaping has been filling in with a high-grade cypress mulch, and you really cannot tell the difference between the gold mulch and the cypress mulch. They almost match exactly in color. It is the less option. It is a dyed, it is dyed wood like pine. It is environmentally treated to keep away bugs, and we have found that it hasn't floated. So if anybody's interested, or any of the presidents want to see what the environmental mulch looks like, just drive either into Tremont 1 and around Tremont 1, and you will see the gold. And if you look at the berm, it is a red berm. I do believe that the other area that had the environmental mulch put in it was Bedford, in Ryan's section last year of Bedford. So we will be sending out that contract. When we send out that contract, we'll be sending out the comparison of the Florida mulch contract from last year with the Florida mulch contract this year, so you will know what the changes are. We've made a lot of changes, and poor Keith and Ma Bell, doing this on the phone, went through an awful lot, because we basically, where it read owner, which related to the Federation, we have inserted basically the member association, because it's the member associations who order the quantity of mulch, have the quantity of mulch installed, and pay for the quantity of mulch. And a lot of things were given to the Federation, and they really should be given back to the individual association to control that aspect of it.
What's the process they're going to need to, if an association wants an evaluation by the mulch company? Who do we call? Is there a process there?
You contact.
He says him and you're saying Marvell.
Well, we're one and the same.
All right.
Same thing, only different.
You'd be easier to get a hold of Ma Bell, because Ma Bell, you are going to oversee this particular aspect of it as it stands today, like you did last year.
And we'll have a chart ready to know what we had last year.
Yes, it'll be the same process as last year, Ma Bell.
Yes.
The only difference is that they will come out and review your area for you. They will walk the area with you and give you their recommendations. Any other questions? Board members on the phone, any questions? Thank you, Keith. Then I would move the Federation Board approve the Florida mulch proposal and draft contract, which has been reviewed by Federal Council and accepted by Florida Mulch, and presented to the Federation membership for their approval at the next Federation membership meeting.
Second.
Thank you. Any objection? Then we will present it to at the next membership meeting. As that completes the agenda, I will ask those on the phone if they have any good and welfare announcements to unmute your phone by hitting *6, and don't all do it at once. As there are no good and welfare announcements, I request a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I move that we adjourn the meeting.
Second. Any objection? Then we will consider the meeting adjourned. Ryan, Bill, and Noreen. I'm sorry, Noreen. You have the other conference bridge. Once you hang up, would you call back in on the other conference bridge, because Ginger would like to discuss with the board some proposals on opening the community. And thank you all for attending. Have a good weekend.
How about a 5-minute bio break, huh?
We'll give you a 5-minute bio break, and I was going to say to the other members, please have a good weekend and stay safe and stay healthy.